Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/JewCowFTW.
Check out our blog where you can listen and download our shows at JewCowFTW.blogspot.com.
And find us on iTunes by simply searching for JewCow's Podcast Kingdom.
And submit your questions to us at ask.fm/JewCow. We will answer them all each week on Undressed to Impress with a Girl.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Welcome to a very special episode of Fresh Asparagus. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle. And this week, it's our first time ever having an interview on Fresh Asparagus.
We're moving up in the world.
Right. As you know, we do interviews throughout our other shows, but we've never actually had an interview on this show, and we could not have started off on a better note.
Yeah. We have a very special guest, Bai Ling, from The Crow and Crank High Voltage.
She's been in so many things, we couldn't even talk about all of the stuff. But we talk about a lot of the, we talk about dumplings, because that was very, not out there, but it was a very, and not controversial. I don't know what to say about dumplings. It was a movie that was talked about a lot, a segment from Three Extremes. And then we talk about The Crow and Crank and Wild Wild West, and she's working on some new projects, and she's just very spiritual, really awesome to talk with, very down to earth, and we already want her back on the show.
Yeah, she's an amazing person. We had a lot of fun talking to her, so we hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Hello?
Hi, this is Kyle with the podcast.
Hello, who's this?
This is Kyle with the interview today. You had an interview at noon?
Yes, yeah, I totally forgot.
Oh, do you have time to do the interview today?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
My name's Kyle, and this is my buddy Josh.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
And we just have some questions for you, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do an interview with us.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into it then.
Okay.
Growing up, did you always know you wanted to be an actress?
I didn't know. I think when I was a child, I was kind of mute, and I was afraid of people, afraid of talking. I always kind of frozen in a place and with no sound. I think I'm kind of from another world, and I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to function or respond to people when I was a child. I was kind of mute and stuck in my own environment that only myself feel comfortable. Even my family, I feel kind of like somehow in the environment, if anybody walks into our room, I'm frozen there.
Right.
It's strange. Mm-hmm.
You're very shy.
Yeah, I think it is part of me. That's why I said I'm from the moon, and I was. I think I just learned that I was. Previous life, I was this wild animal, like running in nature, very free. And then when I adopted this human body on this lifetime in the universe on Earth, so I'm kind of like don't know how to function, but I still have that wild spirit.
Right.
That's somehow. I know I'm in a house. I cannot be a wild animal, but I'm like kind of puzzled, don't know what to do.
Right.
Gotcha. well, who actually influenced you in your acting career? Like, who'd you look up to? And
I don't have anybody that I'm looking up to it because I grew up in a communist country in a very far away from Hollywood. I grew up mostly with my grandparents. I think it's her generosity of giving and appreciation of life, my grandmother. And my grandfather always carried me on his shoulder and taught me in all these poems from ancient China. I memorized hundreds of poems when I was a child. I think it's music, nature, and poetry formatted my soul. And I think acting to me actually, till this day, I'm not acting. I'm basically be truthful there as who I am. But also I find a way because I was extremely shy, I'm scared, afraid. So I find that, but I have this rich world inside of me. I feel if I don't express it, it's going to explode.
Right.
So I find acting as a platform that because I cross the threshold as to acting somebody else, but actually I can be free as who I am, be real. Actually, I was real. I was not acting in any of the roles. I've always been very truthful to say and to do what the character is supposed to do, but being a real Bai Ling.
So you like kind of put everything you've learned, or were influenced by like your grandmother and stuff into each role that you play. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's not really learning anything to how to play the role. It's like how I find a way to express myself. I know I have a gift. It's my grandmother's generosity, appreciation, and guide me to view life that way. So I know that I have a gift to give as an actress. That's how I psychologically and trick myself into a safe zone that I can be the free me and to give the brilliant performance. That's what I do to portray the characters.
Well, and you've done so many movies, there's no way to talk about everything. So I guess
Right.
you have to touch on, just some of the big ones that I know that we loved watching, especially growing up with some of these films. How did you get the part in The Crow as Top Dollar's half-sister and lover?
Yeah. The Crow, actually, I got it when I was in New York. I basically just landed to New York City, and I was invited by NYU Film School. And I met someone, friend of mine, true friend, who knows the casting director. So he said, you're an actress, movie star in China. Do you want to act in here? I said, yeah, but I literally don't speak English. So learning was difficult. I was not interested in the language because I think the language is a tool. I'm interested in actually the fact of moving element of life, but the language itself. So I was kind of struggling learning English, but somehow my friend told me, a casting director. I went to audition for an off-Broadway show. So I got the part. So literally, when I see through the curtain of all the Caucasian faces out there, I forgot all my lines. I was so scared. It's the first time I'm acting on stage in New York.
Right.
So just make the story short. So that I got a lot of people to come to this show. I got an agent, I got a casting director. Everybody was so moved by my performance. I think many years later, I found it. Somebody, friend of mine, saved a copy of a Variety whose review of my acting said Bai Ling gave such moving performance on a Variety magazine. So I did not know. Only later I know this is industry magazine. So then lead to the casting director in New York. I think his name's Bailey Hopkins' office in Susan, and they're associating casting director in Tribeca. So they were like me. They gave me to audition a couple of films. So I always got very good response, and either they flew me to LA to do screen tests. Either I got it or not, I got it. Always great response. So The Crow they brought me in, but when I got there, actually, I was dressed like a t-shirt, jeans, totally looked like a student, no makeup, nothing. But all of the girls there had rings in their nose, black lipstick, all this very funky, gothic, dark look.
Right.
So what is this? I feel I'm totally walking to the wrong place. So anyway, I got in the room, I read my signs, and I left. So I feel like, I never did this one because I'm totally wrong. So at that time I was moving, and there's no cell phone at that time for me. I was moving a place, and my agent couldn't got me. The phone's disconnected. He had to come to my apartment. He said, Bai Ling, I couldn't get in touch with you. And he said, they want you for a callback. I said, what is a callback? I have no clue. So basically he explained, you want to see you again. They like what you did. But he said, Bai Ling, can you go buy a dress? Can you put some makeup on? Because they want you to look beautiful and sexy. So because I didn't have makeup on when I walked in, so I bought a dress. I did some makeup, so I walked in. And the director told me, we love what you did yesterday, but can you make her more alluring, more like extreme, more manipulative? So can you do that? I feel like, I was also asking, how's my English? He said, your English is fine, but just can you do this? So when I get rid of that obstacle of my English in my head, so I was being able to perform very freely. So I started doing the things I know what to do the best. And halfway through, they said, well, perfect. I said, should I continue? They said, yeah. So I finished it, and literally I got the role. Then later on I asked Alex Kuras, I said, why you cast me? I don't look like this role. He said, all the other people look like her, look like this role, but you have the force and the magic inside of you. So that's what we're looking for.
Right,
But
they were just trying too hard.
What?
They were just trying too hard, and you were just yourself, and I think that's what people look for anyway. They want to see you in the character, not people trying to be that character too much.
Right, exactly. Like I was even not only trying, I'm off track.
Right.
Then they were trying to get me back. They say something, say, why are you going that way? We know you can go this way.
Yeah, I know when you in the movie, I guess spoilers, when you get the crow actually starts pecking at your face. That was like as a kid, that was really intense for me. I was like, oh my god, I didn't want to go on birds forever.
Yeah.
Were there any behind the scenes stories that you want to tell about the film that happened, off camera?
Yeah, like when I got to North Carolina, of course, as myself, I still dress like, in like sneakers, jeans, and T-shirt, and it's like totally like a Chinese student there. And then Michael Wincock, I think I first met him, he wasn't impressed. I think if I heard it right, he told the director it was the wrong cast. And it's the wrong cast. It's not her.
Right.
So I'm like totally wrong. So I was like, suddenly when they put makeup on, all the shoes, all the dresses, all the things as a character, so I walked out literally. If you see me, I can show you that. I walk out, everybody was like, have like the eyes blinking, like shocked, like, wow, who's that? It's like among Michael Wincock included, everybody's, wow, she looked like this artist walk out from the sky or something. So just like I have this, I don't even know where to get it from. I have this, when performing a different part, and I have this caressment or some sexual sensuality almost from the universe gave it to me. I can carry to, I seem larger than myself when I'm on screen or when I portray character. I think that's just a gift. Then there's another story with Brandon Lee. So like every day basically I was sitting next to him. He has his 2 hours to make up. I have also 2 hours. I was sitting there, and he was teaching me to play a video game. And he was asking, he said, Bai Ling, I heard you're Chinese. I said, yeah. I said, yes. And he said, I'm Chinese too. I said, you're kidding me. Because he looked totally white to me.
Right.
I said, you're kidding me. He said, yes, I'm Chinese. I said, really? He said, my father's Chinese. I said, oh. I said, what did your father do? He said, my father's actor. I said, oh, great. Then he said, he sort of, I didn't ask him. I said, what's your father's name? He's Bruce Lee. I said, well, I never heard of Bruce Lee. He was like, I said, what kind of film he does? He said, Ashley, come on, you don't know Bruce Lee? I said, no. He was like, wow, probably you're one person in the world don't know Bruce Lee. I was kind of feeling bad. I really didn't know. So in the evening, I went back to my hotel. I called my friend from New York, because we're in North Carolina. I feel kind of bad because he was like disappointed and also made me look like kind of a idiot or something. I don't know his father. So I called my friend. I said, do you know Bruce Lee? And they told me, my friend in New York, they've been there for a while. I said, yeah, we know. I said, who's him? He said, he's Li Xiaolong. They told me his Chinese name. But at that time, I never know English. Of course, I didn't know his English name.
Right.
So when I got downstairs the next day, I told him, I said, oh, I know who your father is, Li Xiaolong. He was like a total relief. He said, wow, no wonder. He said, like, everybody knows my father. He was really proud.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, moving on from The Crow, how'd you land the role of Dr. Lovelace's right hand, Miss East, in Wild Wild West?
I think actually after The Crow, I did the Wild Wild East was after Red Corner.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think I got Red Corner first with Richard Gere, and before the Wild Wild West, I think the same cast director cast it. And he just wanted to see me for Barry, I think Barry Levinson was the director, and Barry, for the Wild Wild West.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, so they wanted to see somebody, the casting director cast me same as a Red Corner. They liked my performance, so they brought me in. So I was actually very funny. During the audition, I made them laugh. I don't know what did I do. So they cast me for that part. They want somebody exotic, it's funny and beautiful.
So they basically just walked in and were like, okay, you're in.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they're very, very like picky and very suspicious in the beginning. But I was because of my presence. Also, I'm really funny. I like to do a big comedy. I did like a Frank Tudor stupid role, but I made her really funny.
That's our favorite movie.
Corner. Yeah, from the serious red corner role as a lawyer, very like a solid performance as like, you call this drama good actresses, until this funny, silly role. I think they have this whole range as actors.
Right, hey, Crank 2, I know we'll definitely talk about it later. That's one of our favorite things you've ever done. I mean, it's awesome. We love that movie.
Yeah.
But I know that I've read so many different stories about the next question, and I don't know which one it is. So I guess we'll ask the person directly. About Star Wars 3, you played Senator Bana, where the scene was cut though, and we were trying to figure out. We saw so many different stories online about why the scene was cut. Is there any like defined proof why it was cut?
Actually, at that time was really controversial, so I was torn. A lot of media was interested to know what's the story behind, because at exactly same time, almost like same day, they released Star Wars and also the Playboy cover magazine at the same time.
Right.
So that's a bit controversial because these two should not merge, because one is a family movie, another one is like totally extremely sexy for almost like for gentlemen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I was in this true middle of it, but literally until today, I did not know exactly what's the truth. I think George Lucas will answer that question, will tell you the truth. But for me, actually, I in a way, I don't mind, and ended up actually in the DVD, because I was really, really proud to be last Star Wars, because that's the last one, and it's a big franchise, like the very beginning, how it started this science fiction and fantasy movie. And for me, it's like I feel very fortunate, very lucky to have worked with the two biggest icon in the world, the cultural icon in the world,
right.
George Lucas and Hugh Hefner. I think for me, that's amazing. I think I really closely work with them. I know them, and I'm together in their products, in the project, in their work. I think that for me is just a gift. I have no complaint. I feel like I'm fortunate just to have the closely and experience work with these two, culture icons in the world.
Right, and luckily, if you do want to see the scene, they did release it finally on the DVD that recently came out. So it was cut from the actual movie, but you can actually see it in deleted scene. So that's good.
Yeah, so it's in the DVD, so I'm glad it's there, because in the end, people are going to watch the DVD more often than the movie.
Oh, yeah, if you know Star Wars nerds, they're going to watch every single thing there is.
They're gonna pick it apart like crazy. What drew you to the part for the dumpling segment in 3 Extremes? Like, what made you want to go for that role?
Wow, that's a good question, because dumplings are such a unique, special, tortured experience for me, because it's a really, really difficult role. Right now, you see the film, you see her, because I made her alive. But when I read on the paper, it's like sort of like a ghost, like she could exist like 2,000 years ago or 2,000 years later.
Right.
It's a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spirit. There's no ground. She's floating, and you cannot grab her. So basically, I was in L.A. I got a call from Peter Chen, the producer of Dumplings from Hong Kong. And he said, Bai Ling, I want you to come to Hong Kong work in a film with me. But I said, I'm not the director, I'm producer. And he says, the director of Food Chen. I said, okay, cool, because I like this film. I said, what kind of film? He's a horror film. I was like, you can hear the silence from my end. I was like, horror film? Really? Because I at that time, I did not know what horror film generally have no characters. There's a bunch of people and their eyeballs gone, or their faces like cut it off, or their arm is gone, all these crazy, scary movies. I said, you want me? But I said, okay. And he told me a little bit of the story. I said, okay, I'll take a chance. So I got there. I was really very suntanned, dressed like a miniskirt, looked like a teenager. I thought they were like, look at me like, wow, everybody talking. Why you got her? It's totally wrong. Compared to my look, normalized modern girl, still the character I portrayed, it's like probably like a day and night. So then we got this writer, very mystical and respected, but a very mysterious kind of, almost like a kind of odd writer. Nobody really understands her. She's like a witch or something. So, but I read it, and as the script is written, it's very literal, like literature. The things she says is not really how we talk normalized.
Right.
So I have to make all of this into like a reality. People will believe I'm alive, not just reading a book. So finally he said, I said, wow, how you portray it? They tell me what to do. They said, we have no clue. That's why it's got you. I know you can do something. I said, okay, if that's your word, just let me have my freedom. I do whatever I like. So finally, every day, all these ideas come to me. I have no clue. I said, give me a sign, give me this and that. But everything I do is like the maximum is 2 takes. Because they're working on the other actress who's a comedian. We want to give her 20 takes, give me 2 takes. I said, this is not fair. I said, Bai Ling, you're good. We don't need it. We got this. I was like kind of disappointed. 2 takes? Sometimes just 1. And then I was like, you know, it was like every time when I play a character, it's like you have a love affair. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like her journey, her life, her story, but I'm the one responsible. Give her blood, give her life, give her behavior, make her behave the way, you know, it's on the paper, make her life. So, but it's like, it's her journey. So sort of like she's like invisibly like testing me and torture me, guide me, misguiding me, all this tests, all this things are very, very difficult challenge for me. And finally, you know, I put everything and I give everything to her just basically to love her. In the end, basically it's like she will suddenly say, okay, you're approved, you got the test. That's why I won an Asian Academy Award for 4 most important acting awards I won. But I know that if in the beginning that's what I wanted to win an award, I'll never win. I think that's how life gives you a reward when you give everything to it, and you get so much more than what you ask for.
Right.
But if you have a purpose to want something, you never get that thing.
Right.
That's something I learned about life. It's dedicated, give everything to what you do.
Absolutely.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, that was definitely more the more extreme of the 3 stories in the being, you know, what the dumplings were made of and everything. You think you'll be making any? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Like they were basically picking up from the airport and directly taking to set. I said, well, at least you're gonna give me a luggage to the airport, to the hotel. I take shower or something. He said, no, somebody take care of it. He got me to the set. Immediately work. It worked so hard. We're like, I'm not saying it's 24 hours, but close enough. So, and also in the condition, like we're shooting in the hot summer, like 108 degrees or something, and we're in the top floor of this residential area of the apartment, so tiny.
Right.
And the sun's directly coming. There's no air conditioning. And the meat, you know, what I'm cooking, all of the hours, all stinking. It's bad because it's hot. And they gave me this fake necklace, was like fake gold, and with the sweaty and all this powder and making dumpling, everything just like itches. I get exactly itches and just driving me crazy. I did not sleep enough, and everything comes to me, so like feel like I can't live like this. And when I look out the window, like seem like you know, like a Dali's painting, everything's muted. I feel like, wow, if I fly, jump out, I survive. You know, there's one lady from I think they wanted me to do this CNN interview. And she come to visit on set. She wanted to take a look before the interview. And she was there for 10 or 15 minutes. She left. She sent me a message. She said, Bai Ling, I respect you for the rest of my life. He said, I cannot even survive for like more than 10 minutes. It's stinking, it's hot, everything. So I'm just telling you, when you see at the movies, everything is comfortable. But it's a hell.
Wow. Do you think you'll be making any more horror films like this in the future, or was that kind of like a one-time deal for you?
Yes, I would like to do it because that character is because I'm a performer or actor, because I have this capacity. I can make any role work as difficult as possible, as more complicated as possible, and it gets me excited because I feel like I can use my talent, because a lot of roles offered to me, like I can do it with my eyes closed. It's easy. But when I have all these things, and it's difficult. I know I have all these elements and this talent give, you know, subtleties to my character, make her uniquely one of the most unique characters there alive on screen. That's something exciting. So despite all these difficulties, I think I still want to do it, because I think the more challenging, more difficult, and somehow that means give you the room and open the doors for you for more wonderful and surprise possibilities. I think at the time, after that dumpling, I met Quentin Tarantino. He actually told me, he said, dumplings. Actually, he only watched the 3 Extreme, the short term. He said, Bai Ling. I said, dumplings. He said, you're fantastic. He said, I would say the best performer of the year. So he said, I told him, I said, wow, come from you. I said, please, you have to watch the long version of dumplings.
Right.
So that's something excites me because I think I don't know why or how I got this gift. I think I belong to this, really top, fine art, actors in the world because I'm not talking about Bai Ling. I'm talking about the gifts I got. All of us have our special gifts, and I recognize that. So I would like to have more opportunity to give that gift to Hollywood.
What's your favorite type of role to do?
Well, I'm oddly, I'm kind of mischievous. I have this a little spirit visually living inside me.
Right.
So I like to challenge it, tap on all types of roles like comedy, science fiction, drama, or any kind of role, horror, and I've done all of them. But I really don't have a preference. I enjoy all of them. I can actually do all of them very well. But of course, most difficult role to do is this complex drama role.
Right.
Which a lot of people cannot do, but that's something because they give you room to allow you to make 360 degrees of the character in details. So that's something I love to do. I can do it extremely well.
Well, one of our favorite roles that you've ever done is Crank High Voltage, and you brought it up just a second ago as well. And we love all your lines in that movie. Basically, you were the comedy throughout the entire movie. How did you prepare for that kind of role?
Wow, it's funny that role. Actually, I think I was traveling back from somewhere, so my agent set up an audition. They wanted to see me before because I was working, so I traveled back. I said I want to go in. I think they already see so many actors for that role because I came in almost the last audition.
Right.
So there, basically, the role, to be honest with you, is really, really stupid. Well, really, I say one of these typical stupid girls, like just the kind of a trashy, loser, and crazy. Like kind of in a real character, it's less than what I brought to screen. It's like kind of just dumb. So I got there, I said, well, I'm going to do something. She's kind of stupid. I'm going to do something. So literally, I made her extremely crazy, extreme you can go. So basically, after the audition, all I remember is in the end of the audition, I found myself on the floor, right?
Right.
I said, what the hell? I'm on the floor. I have no clue. Why would I on the floor? Because the thing's not needed on the floor. So anyway, I left it. Most of the time when I'm acting, I'm not aware of myself. I did not know what I was doing. I was caught in the moment and go for it. It's like you're driving a car, you just drive. If the OC, you're going to jump. So literally after I got the role, I was on set. The producers come to me and say, Bai Ling, do you watch your movies? I said, well, I used to. Like in the beginning, I watched my movies. I was nervous. I was aware of how people were going to respond. But after a while, I said, when the movie comes out, I'm already into another movie. I said, lately, actually, I'm very comfortable not to watch my movies. I can watch them unless, like a movie, I didn't watch the whole thing. Right. So unless they invited me to premiere, I was available. So I said, well, not really. Sometimes I do. They said, even if you don't watch the movie, you have to watch the tape of the audition. They say you're crazy, like hilarious. You're just hilarious. They say we see so many actors, and none of them really make sense of the lines they're saying. They feel like it's not funny, it doesn't belong to them. And when you do you're just like make everything make sense. So basically, we're shooting that. The two young directors, I love them. They're just like so open. They're rollerbladers shooting. Sometimes I find my camera on my shoulder. Sometimes I find my camera under my basically, where in the middle of my legs. Somewhere, just a weird position. I said, no. So basically, the role, they want this part to be comic, right? To be funny. They specifically, I think, they thought about it, have to write something really, really funny. They asked me to stick to a script, right? Because I'm just all over the place. Finally, one take, I'll do exactly on the script say. And he said, Bai Ling, you go off whatever you want to do. In the beginning, they're nervous. In the end, they say, Bai Ling, do something, say something, do something. They just let me to have freedom. One time I remember, the line, I said, wow, you're my shiny lunchbox. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
And,
yes.
well, when I was acting with Jason, he could not keep his face straight. I said, wow, you're my shiny diaper. I was like, can you believe it? I was coming up all these lines out of nowhere, and he was laughing. He said, what the hell are you saying? I said, I was just going all this weird, extremely fun. Everybody's laughing. He could not start. So in the end, basically, it's fine, do something, say something. I would just come up with something out of nowhere that is hilarious. I think it's just something, I really learned about myself. So like if I'm thinking I'm an idiot, I'm not thinking, I'm a genius. And when I'm not thinking, seriously, when I'm not thinking, all these things come, as if this mischievous ghost, like vivid, this mischievous little ghost, all come to my head. Hey, see that? Yeah. They're all like bugging me, and I just come out the words, and all of them are funny. Then they were laughing in my head. It's just funny. I think when I'm open to the universe, I have all these gifts. It's like the huge, like the best tool in the acting world that I have in the universe stored for me. If I just open, they all come by themselves to surprise me. Sometimes when I do the same, when the director produces any movie, they say, "Oh, Bai Ling," I mean, my tutor say, "Bai Ling, you're ready." I say, "Sure, I'm ready." Actually, I have no clue. I'm not. I don't know what I'm going to do. Of course, sometimes I learn the lines in the makeup room because I don't like to study them. Right. I like to keep it fresh. Of course, I have to learn the lines, but I roughly know them. I'm very quick of learning lines. So then I got to the set. I said, "Oh, Bai Ling, you're ready. What are you going to do?" I said, "I'll show you." I said, "Sure." I said, "Turn the camera on." So even at that moment, I swear to God, I have no clue what I'm going to do. But I'm so excited at the moment. I knew that I have a magic with me. But I don't know what I'm going to do. My mind's not involved. When the camera's on, I totally, I dominate myself. I dominate the thing because I just become the character. I'm there, and I'm not there. I just caught everybody's attention. So after that, they were like, "Wow, you're so good. How did you do it?" I feel like I'm jump out of my body, look at myself. I said, "How did I do it? I have no clue." So that's the truth. I have no clue.
I gotta say, to this day, I call my fiance a shiny lunchbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a line.
You tell her, you're my shiny diaper.
He's gonna try that one tonight.
Yeah, that might.
Yeah, please. She'll be like, "You're crazy," but she'll like it later on.
I'll send you a message to let you know how it goes.
Yeah. Okay, tell me.
I really admire the fact that you like to do a lot of improvisation. Like you just come up with stuff. Like you still stick to general inside the story and everything, but you improvise a lot, and I think that's what makes any great scene or movie. The director allows you to. They kind of just say, "Here, go with what you think," or just say a line or something like that. So I think that's what made Crank so great as well.
Right.
Was you being able to do that.
Right, you're totally right. It's like the moment of life, because no matter what is the setup thing is acting, but you have to breathe. And the air only going to be alive when it's real at the moment.
Exactly.
I think for me, acting, of course you call me actress. I'm not acting in that moment. Even Crank 2 or Red Corner or whatever, serious or not serious, I'm real in that moment. I think it's like children, they always move you. They always move you, always make you believe, and they tell you always care for them because you're real. Like for me, that's something, I'm real no matter what I do. I have to share this story with you. I think a while ago I auditioned for Terrence Malick, so one of the greatest directors out there. So for a Broadway show called Sons of the Bailiff, they adapted from Japanese play. But we only did the workshop in band for this play. Unfortunately, Terrence Malick was the writer, was a writer and producer. The director is Andrzej Wajda, great Polish director. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I went to audition in New York. It was in the theater downtown somewhere. They put me in the center of the theater. The directors, everybody sitting up row, upper somewhere. I cannot even see. They had this one single light on me. So I was just reading a character. It's a beautiful play. I play this goddess of mercy, adopted herself into a family as his daughter to guide his whole family went through turmoils, difficulties. So I was reading a monologue of how I crossed the threshold and drowned myself in order to save them. It's so beautiful. I was reading, and it's just so beautiful. I memorized, I read it. After that, Terrence Malick is taken me to another room. He says, "Bai Ling, no matter what you do, it's what we want or not, it's the right direction or not, it's the right discretion of the character or not. You see, you're so truthful. We just have to believe in you. We believe in what you say and what you do." He said, "Please do not ever change that. Do not ever watch television. Up to today, I don't own a television."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I knew I have the truth, and life is my stage or my resources as real life living to learn to breathe life, to be a good performer, artist. It's not watching or learning these things from, the things away from life.
And that's one thing that, the main reason we wanted to get you on the show is because we do admire that you just be yourself. You're very bright. You're very funny. You love singing. Because I remember seeing, we were doing some research on you a little bit just so we make sure we have everything that we wanted to ask you and didn't regret anything, not asking. And I remember seeing online a while back that you were singing sexy love songs with a group. I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Which one?
You were singing it's called Sexy Love Songs with some group. I believe it may be at a convention or something like that, but you were singing Sexy Sexy, and I was like dying laughing. I thought that was hilarious. But I mean,
I have this ability. I'm brave. I think it's fun. I'm brave to push all the envelope we're not supposed to push.
Right.
But I have no limit because I never learned anything. My mind is free. Nobody told me I should do this and that. I can do anything I want. When you have that freedom, you actually bring magic.
We got to hire you to do a song for us, a JewCow song.
Yes, I will.
You can do it.
I will play you, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll be serenaded. You can do a song for our podcast, our opening theme song.
Yes.
That'll be amazing.
Well, the way we like to end the show each week when we have a guest on is we do what we call the speed round. It's basically just 7 questions, and it's just whatever comes off the top of your head. The first question is, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Casablanca.
That's a good one.
What's the best movie you've seen in the last 5 years?
Popped to my mind is Dumplings.
That was when I first saw that movie. I was taken back. I hadn't seen too many foreign films. I'd seen a lot, but not horror really. I was getting into the horror foreign films, and that movie really.
That's not really people think of horror. That's a psychologically alluring horror. It's
right, exactly.
This dead body suddenly somewhere come out of your bed. It's different.
It's dialogue and creepy. That's what it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie that you've worked on so far?
Favorite movie I work on, I would think Red Corner, because it's my first leading role.
Okay.
And it's really, really difficult. My English wasn't good at all, but I was working with Richard Gere. And it's really, I play lawyer, which is really far from my real life. And I got a breakthrough performance from National Board of Review. So that's something basically gave me the confidence to be who I am as a performer after that movie.
Nice.
Red Corner.
What's a role that you would love to have?
What is what?
What's a role that you would love to have? Like, if somebody offered you a role, what would that role be that you would, your dream role?
My dream role would be I think it's something very complex. Maybe I don't know. It's maybe some contemporary, like sort of like a Casablanca sort of thing, like a love story, but in a contemporary way, and very beautiful, very moving.
Okay.
And maybe I'm not sure. Maybe involve music or something.
Oh, wow. Do you have a cheesy guilty pleasure movie that you have to watch all the time?
I'm sorry. Say it again slowly.
I'm sorry?
Can you say it again? I couldn't.
Do you have a cheesy guilty pleasure movie?
Do I have what?
A guilty pleasure movie, a movie that you have to watch all the time. It just brings you so much joy.
I think the movie I watch all the time is Bai Ling's real life movie. I like real life. I don't watch movie and TV often.
Right.
All right.
I think my own life reality. It's a movie for me. It's too much for me to watch it every day.
Right.
That's a good answer. What's a life? Well, speaking of real life, what's a life lesson that you've learned from doing all your films and?
It's not something I learned. I think that we confirmed what I believe is be the brilliant, the most brilliant and beautiful of who you are.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And the last question we have for you on our show is, what's your favorite line that you've ever said from one of your movies?
You're my shiny diaper. You're my shiny lunchbox. Actually, it's like, I love her eyes, pretty. That's from The Crow. Everybody quoted that. They don't know that one.
Right.
I love your eyes, pretty. That almost like my very first English line ever on the silver screen Hollywood movie because The Crow is my first English movie. That's my first line ever people hear on film of Bai Ling. I love your eyes, pretty. I think eyes are the window of our soul, right? It's nice.
Right, absolutely.
Hello?
Oh, I think Kyle dropped out for a second.
Oh, hello. Sorry, it went out. I'm sorry about that.
And I want to share something with you. So I just got an offer of a role which we're shooting next month. I'm very, very extremely excited. It will be another challenge for me, which I'm very lucky to step into this role. And it's a very beautifully written script based on a Nobel Prize-winning novel called The Key. So they adapted it into a modern story based on that story. So I got the leading female part, which is originally written for Caucasian female character actors. So I memorized like 3 pages of monologue. As I went there, I read it, memorized the basic perform. So I got the offer the day after. So I'm like very, very proud and very happy and very excited. And it's going to be a challenging role, but that's something that makes me excited.
Very nice.
So I just want to share with you the good news.
Absolutely, and once the movie comes out and we can see it, maybe we can come back on the show. We could talk about the new works you've been working on.
Totally, even when I'm doing the shooting, maybe we can, talk about the process or something.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/JewCow FTW.
Check out our blog where you can listen and download our shows at JewCowFTW.blogspot.com.
And find us on iTunes by simply searching for JewCow's Podcast Kingdom.
And submit your questions to us at ask.fm/JewCow. We will answer them all each week on Undressed to Impress with a Girl.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Welcome to a very special episode of Fresh Asparagus. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle. And this week, it's our first time ever having an interview on Fresh Asparagus.
We're moving up in the world.
Right. As you know, we do interviews throughout our other shows, but we've never actually had an interview on this show, and we could not have started off on a better note.
Yeah. We have a very special guest, Bai Ling, from The Crow and Crank High Voltage.
She's been in so many things, we couldn't even talk about all of the stuff. But we talk about a lot of the, we talk about dumplings, because that was very, not out there, but it was a very, and not controversial. I don't know what to say about dumplings. It was a movie that was talked about a lot, a segment from Three Extremes. And then we talk about The Crow and Crank and Wild Wild West, and she's working on some new projects, and she's just very spiritual, really awesome to talk with, very down to earth, and we already want her back on the show.
Yeah, she's an amazing person. We had a lot of fun talking to her, so we hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Hello?
Hi, this is Kyle with the podcast.
Hello, who's this?
This is Kyle with the interview today. You had an interview at noon?
Yes, I totally forgot.
Oh, do you have time to do the interview today?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
My name's Kyle, and this is my buddy Josh.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
And we just have some questions for you, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do an interview with us.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into it then.
Okay.
Growing up, did you always know you wanted to be an actress?
I did not know. I think when I was a child, I was kind of mute, and I was afraid of people, afraid of talking. I always kind of frozen in a place and with no sound. I think I'm kind of from another world, and I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to function or respond to people when I was a child. I was kind of mute and stuck in my own environment that only myself feel comfortable. My family, I feel kind of like somehow friend who knows the casting director. So he said, "You're an actress, movie star in China. Do you want to act in here?" I said, "Yeah, but I literally don't speak English." So learning was difficult. I was not interested in the language because I think the language is a tool. I'm interested in actually the fact of moving element of life, but the language itself. So I was kind of struggling learning English, but somehow my friend told me, a casting director. I went to audition for an off-Broadway show. So I got the part. So literally, when I see through the curtain of all the Caucasian faces out there, I forgot all my lines. I was so scared. It's the first time I'm acting on stage in New York.
Right.
So just make the story short. So I got a lot of people to come to this show. I got an agent, I got a casting director. Everybody was so moved by my performance. I think many years later, I found it. Somebody, friend of mine, saved a copy of a Variety whose review of my acting said Bai Ling did such moving performance on a Variety magazine. So I did not know. Only later I know this is industry magazine. So then lead to the casting director in New York. I think his name's Bailey Hopkins' office in Susan, and they're associating casting director in Tribeca. So they were like me. They gave me to audition a couple of films. So I always got very good response, and either they flew me to LA to do screen tests. Either I got it or not, I got it. Always great response. So the Crow they brought me in, but in the environment, if anybody walks into our room, I'm frozen there.
Right.
It's strange. Mm-hmm.
Just very shy.
Yeah, I think there is part of me, that's why I said I'm from the moon, and I was, I think I just learned that I was, previous life I was this wild animal, like running in nature, very free. And then when I adopted this human body on this lifetime in the universe on Earth, so I'm kind of like don't know how to function, but I still have that wild spirit.
Right.
That's somehow, I know I'm in a house, I cannot be a wild animal, but I'm like kind of puzzled, don't know what to do.
Right.
Gotcha. well, who actually influenced you in your acting career? Like, who'd you look up to? And
I don't have anybody that I'm looking up to it because I grew up in a communist country in a very, far away from Hollywood. I grew up mostly with my grandparents. I think it's her generosity of giving and appreciation of life, my grandmother. And my grandfather always carried me on his shoulder and taught me in all these poems from ancient China. I memorized hundreds of poems when I was a child. I think it's music, nature, and poetry formatted my soul. And I think acting to me, actually, till this day, I'm not acting. I'm basically be truthful there as who I am. But also, I find a way because I was extremely shy, I was scared, afraid. So I find that, but I have this rich world inside of me. I feel if I don't express it, it's going to explode.
Right.
So I find acting as a platform that because I cross the threshold as to acting somebody else, but actually I can be free as who I am, be real. Actually, I was real. I was not acting in any of the roles. I've always been very truthful to say and to do what the character is supposed to do, but being a real Bai Ling.
So you kind of put everything you've learned or, were influenced by your grandmother and stuff into each role that you play. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's not really learning anything to how to play the role. It's like how I find a way to express myself. I know I have a gift. It's my grandmother's generosity, appreciation, and guide me to, view life that way. So I know that I have a gift to give as an actress. That's how I psychologically and trick myself into a safe zone that I can be the free me and to give the brilliant performance. That's what I do to portray the characters.
Well, and you've done so many movies, there's no way to talk about everything. So I guess you have to touch on, just some of the big ones that I know that we loved watching, especially growing up with some of these films. How did you get the part in The Crow as Top Dollar's half-sister and lover?
Yeah. The Crow, actually, I got it when I was in New York. I basically just landed in New York City, and I was invited by NYU Film School. I met someone, friend of mine through